Okay, honorable judges, ladies and gentlemen, nice to meet you here. As a young teacher with deep love for English as well as teaching, my dream is to devote all my time and energy, love and passion to my teaching career. Today, the presentation of my teaching plan is divided into two parts. First, I would like to give you a brief analysis of the text. Then, I would like to share with you my teaching procedures. To begin with, the title of this essay is Don't Fear the Artificial Intelligence, written by Kurzweil. Okay. The author introduced the topic by quoting the ideas or the advocates' opinions from two famous scientists, Stephen Hawking and Elon Musk. They hold the opinion that the artificial intelligence has been exerting a really important threat to the human civilization. But the author just gives us the confidence that it's not the first one because we have already faced the existential risk. For example, the virus created by some bad guys, and so on. The author used the metaphor about AI, or artificial intelligence, is the double-edged sword, using the example of fire, because the fire can both bring us the warmth and also can burn down our villages. Then the author illustrates his point of view using a lot of concrete examples, such as AI actually is not in the hands of the minority. It is in the hand of the majority. Just like globalization, each ordinary and common person can master the usage of AI and that they can make their own contribution to the world. Then the author tells us or shares with us some specific or particular strategies such as biotechnology, medical treatment, ethical guideline. He said that we still have a lot of time and we should be optimistic about the future because we have enough time to devise the ethical standards. And the universities and the companies are also working together to try their best to curb the bad influence brought by the artificial intelligence. But ultimately, the most important element or the most important approach is to work on our human governance and social institutions. At the end of the essay, the author told us a lot about the advantages of AI. For example, cure the disease. For example, help us to improve the level of education. For example, to provide us with the clean energy and also environment. And the author ends the essay with a sentence which gives us power, influence for the future. It won't be the first time we've succeeded in doing this. That means we will definitely and absolutely succeed in fighting against the disadvantages of artificial intelligence. Okay, this is an integrated course. I suppose my lecture based on the target test will last for 2 periods. My overall teaching guideline is established on the basis of independent learning theory and student-centered strategy. Therefore, high priority should be given to the cultivation of the student's interest in learning by making a prediction about the theme of the text and some leading activities for the reason that interest is forever the best teacher. Secondly, to develop students' self-study abilities by enhancing their reading and writing skills. And thirdly, to foster their capacity for independent thinking by conducting some group work. In a word, the role I play in this class is the coach instead of a teacher. Okay, then here come my teaching objectives. In this class, the students are supposed to read the text through global reading and detailed reading. In other words, exploration of the text. And then I want to lead the students to appreciate the writing feature. The next part is about critical thinking. Last but not least, about some assignment. So, in order to achieve those teaching objectives, here come my teaching procedures, including 4 major parts. First, leading. Second, exploration of the text. Thirdly, critical thinking. And last but not least, assignment. Okay, so let's talk about leading first. My target students are usually second-year non-English majors who are mainly the post-90 generation. They are really willing to do what they want instead of what they are wanted. They have really great desire and curiosity about the new technology. I do believe they are much more familiar with the AI in this field than I do because they are much younger than me. So, before the class, I'd like to give the students enough time and provide them with some materials and also some websites for them to read before the class. And also, more importantly, they can read by themselves in the library or on the internet to search for more information. That reading or that before class reading shouldn't be confined by what I have given them. Okay, then if all of us are available, then I'd like to lead the students to visit the Department of Science and Information Technology in our university, where you can find the really high level and advanced robots which can play soccer together, which can perform the soccer games. After goaling, they can celebrate each other. So that means they have a really high intelligence level. And also the robots can cook the delicious meal for people. I think the students may feel amazed at what they see. After that, presentation will be held by students to present their findings about the background information. And some movies will be provided for them or recommended for students. For example, Transformer, Mission Impossible, containing a lot of elements about the future elements. Okay, so in this way, I hope that their interest will be aroused, and I hope that their attention will be drawn to today's class. Next part is about global reading. Since I have just gone through the development of writer's line of thought, I will mainly focus on one activity that's a gap filling exercise, where they need to fill in with one word whose initial letter has already been given. In this way, they will grasp the gist and find out the main structure of this passage. Next part is about detailed reading. In paragraph number 8, we can see the author points out the most important approach is to work on our human governance. There's a sentence which deserves our attention. The best way to avoid destructive conflict in the future is to continue the advance of our social ideals. I'd like the students to come up with the deeper meaning or the intended meaning contained in a sentence instead of only reading for the surface meaning. I'd like the student working groups share ideas with each other, and later I would like to hear their voices. Okay, then appreciation of writing feature. This writing is really well organized and well written because the author has used a lot of metaphor, for example, the double-edged sword, and also analogy, for example, use fire to tell us what the artificial intelligence can bring us, both the advantages and the disadvantages. And also parenthesis about in paragraph number 1, the author used parenthesis to give extra information and give emphasis to some point of view. Okay. The last part is about critical thinking. In this part, I like to lead students to think about some controversial ones or some really profound questions, such as if the robots can gain enough or the equal intelligence as humans do, then will human beings be in an awkward situations? And why? Because at that time, it seems that we don't need to do anything. We don't need to work. We don't need to get education. We don't need to teach other people. We don't need to get communicating. Okay, so I want to ask the students, will human beings be in an awkward situation, and state their reasons? And also, another one to arouse their interest, and it's really a very it's really an interesting topic for them to talk about is, will you fall in love with a robot with the really sharp appearance? If you were a boy, then would you fall in love with a handsome robot? Okay, if you were a boy, then would you like to fall in love with a pretty robot? Then I'd like them to talk with each other, share their ideas. Then about homework, homework or assignment for them to do after class. Since we have talked so much about the artificial intelligence, then I'd like them to prepare a role play. One group of students will act as the people, the human beings in the future, coming from the future. And the other group of people, students in my class, will act as the robots coming from the future. What kind of dialogue would they have? What kind of communication would they perform? Okay, so the other piece of homework or assignment is to write an essay on the topic. As a university student, as a young guy, since maybe some majors students don't have enough background knowledge or don't have enough techniques to change the world, but I do believe as a young student, we can do something. At least some trivial things. So I want them to write an essay on the topic of, as a young student, what would you like to do to help the world become better? Okay, so in this way, I hope that they can have the interest in the topic and also to gain enough knowledge from this class. They are the 4 steps I would like to take to analyze the text. And I do believe with power, with passion, with love, my class will be a successful one. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you.
Thanks a lot. Now, here comes the questions for you.
With power, passion, and what?
And love.
And love.
Yeah.
Without knowledge. So you can be successful.
With power, love, and passion, we will gain knowledge smoothly, naturally.
I think you are very much productive.
Thank you.
Now let's look at one of your products. You said you divide your students into 2 groups. One is AI, right?
Yeah.
The other is what?
Human beings.
Human beings.
Yeah.
And you said also some robots from the future world.
Yeah.
What
okay.
is robot?
Robot, yeah.
What is robot?
What is robot? Robot is...
Does it mean that in the future there will be so many people whose name is Robert?
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you for what?
Robot can be interpreted in different way, but in my opinion, robot is a kind of machine, okay, which owns the
Okay.
human intelligence and morals.
The first product is not so good. Now the second one.
Thank you.
You mean? Can you tell me the difference between a coach and a teacher?
Yeah, thank you. Okay. Coach is responsible for training the students' skills and training their capabilities and abilities, but teachers more responsible for transmitting the knowledge, giving them the information, teach them by the limit of the textbook. But coach doesn't necessarily mean that a coach needs to be better or superior to their students, because all the students are regarded as players. And my ultimate goal is to put theory to practice. So practice is the main focus for a coach, but knowledge is the main focus for a teacher for most of the time.
I don't think so. Okay. I am a teacher, but I do not think knowledge is my focus.
Yeah. Thank you.
So that is
maybe that's a different understanding
that's
of that concept.
An issue of naming, labeling. All.
Thank you.
Okay, you said you will pay attention to which sentence? I just can't remember. Humanity was introduced. Is that one? Or the
paragraph 8.
No, paragraph 8.
Yeah.
Yes. Ultimately, can you read aloud this sentence?
Ultimately, the most important approach we can take to keep AI safe is to work on our human governance and social institutions.
So you said surface meaning is not enough, so you have to deep into the deep meaning of it, right? But first, let's look at the surface meaning. I just want the surface meaning of human governance and social institutions.
Sorry, okay. Maybe you have got me wrong, because what I focus on in paragraph 8 is the third sentence. The best way to avoid destructive conflict in the future is to continue the advance of social ideals. This one. Yeah, this sentence.
But my attention is on this first one. Without the first one, your third one will be nowhere.
Okay.
Okay?
First one.
Just tell me the surface meaning of human governance and social institutions.
Human governance, yeah. Okay, the passage centers around the manipulation of machine, actually. What really matters in the matter of artificial intelligence is in the hand of our human beings. So that means the key solution to this problem lies in human intelligence or their mental thoughts. So human governance and social institutions is about the top ones, the leading ones, scientists, or some really distinguished guys who are responsible for this kind of mental thought. If they have got the mental ideas, they have got the mental ways to solve this problem, then they can come up with the way to conquer the disadvantages of the machines.
I'm afraid you've gone too deep into the water. I just like you to stay at the surface.
Oh, stay at the surface. Yeah, to work on our human governance and social institution. Maybe some reform.
That's also deep in the water.
work on our human governance and social institution. To make sure that all the people working for this career or working for this cause have the idea, have the idealized moral. That means those intelligent people with the power to change the world have the morals, have the virtues. They will not harm other people. They will not have the motive to harm, destroy the world.
I think you pay more attention to productivity than quality. Okay, that's one of the ways. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.